Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. Well, from soaring gas prices at the pumps to higher grocery bills and almost everything in between, inflation is having a big impact on Indiana's economy. The Labor Department says consumer inflation jumped 7.9% over the past year, the sharpest spike since 1982. Is this an indicator of even higher prices to come? With perspective, I'm pleased to be joined now to welcome back to the show the director of the Center for Business and Economic Research at Ball State University, Mike Hicks from the Ball State campus. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you.
Mike, we saw this week the Federal Reserve making a move to address inflation with an interest rate hike. Is this the beginning of something we're going to see several times more yet this year?
Yeah, I think so. They made pretty clear that they're intending to raise interest rates 25 basis points each meeting every 6 weeks for the rest of the year. So we're talking about a 1.5% to 2% full increase in their interest rates, which will bleed out into mortgage rates, any sort of additional credit card rate or financing of a new vehicle.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, Mike, in terms of the impact on the consumer here in Indiana in terms of rising rates, how that will impact, and then supply and demand, a number of those issues, what the impact will be.
Right. So if you think back about 6 to 9 months ago, it looked like this could be transient inflation, but the numbers you just read off indicate we're back into plain old-fashioned too much money chasing too few goods inflation. So as the Federal Reserve raises rates, you would expect that to moderate. So the growth in prices would come down substantially. We're targeting 2.5%, not the nearly 8% that happened last week. And I think what we'll see as consumers will be prices aren't going to come back down. They're just going to stop rising. So we'll see gas prices moderate. We'll see the monthly change in the price of bread is going to stop, I think, here pretty quickly. This is something the Federal Reserve should be able to rein in with this, six rate hikes over this year. But if not, they'll be able to continue to do other things into another year. But I do think this spells a very aggressive step against inflation.
Yeah, and when you talk about mortgage rates increasing, nobody likes to hear that. But realistically speaking, they're going to go up, but it's going to be nothing like, years ago, many of us remember those extremely high mortgage rates. They're still going to be historically within reason.
Right. They're now back up to 3%. So if you're, most of us were ecstatic to see interest rates at 3 or 4%. My first home was at 9% in the late 80s. So I think there are a lot of Hoosiers are going to listen to your show and say, oh gosh, 3%, things are fine. It could well go to 4.5%. We're still talking about historically modest interest rates and borrowing costs. Nothing here that should cause consumers to back off from buying homes, RVs, or automobiles in big numbers.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that business impact. And as you look at energy costs on the rise, certainly, and I think of the RV industry in northern Indiana, which is so obviously critical to that part of the state and the entire state. What do you see as the impact there?
Right, that's a great question. I was really nervous about the RV industry. They sold 400 and some thousand in 2019, and then 600,000 last year. So that's a huge spike in their purchases. So I ran some numbers, and with gas prices rising about $2.50 from their low in 2020 to today, and with interest rates going up another 2%, that's going to knock them down maybe 50,000 units. And so we're still talking about their second best year in history. So I think the same's true with automobile manufacturing. There's still plenty of pent-up demand out there. So I don't see a year of fighting inflation as being something that puts us into a recession or even near a recession. I think this is a fairly straightforward process that we're going through from a very low price level to pretty good overall interest rates.
Hey, I want to talk about the supply chain issue. Still a big issue for a lot of Indiana companies, certainly. But you see that kind of still working its way out as the year progresses?
Yeah, there's sort of two things at this. One is just when you shut down the economy around the world for 6-8 months, starting it back up is painful. And then there's just been this excess demand over the last year. So a little bit less demand for these products, a little bit more work in catching back up. I think we'll see most of them easing. We're still going to have cars are still going to be late in the next cycle year. we're not going to see a complete recovery, but the supply chains, with the exception of what's happening in Ukraine and the global oil markets, ought to be solving themselves pretty effectively by summer.
Great perspective, Mike, and certainly the situation in Ukraine will be a wild card in all of this as well. So Mike Hicks coming to us from the Ball State campus in Muncie. Thanks. We will talk to you soon.
Good to be with you.